How do I talk my friend out of getting into high-end escorting, as she puts it? Engage with it, like properly engage with it. I disagree with this, but if you're going to do it, then we need to figure out how sort of thing. Ask her about her plan. Challenge her on her plan. Ask her to consider stuff she might not have. Not abstract, you might get taken advantage of stuff, a legitimate concern, but too vague to meaningfully discuss, but more concrete, how are you going to source it your customers? Kind of approach. Do this with no judgment and without trying to catch her out with any aha or gotcha moments. Work through the problems as far as you can. You might end up realizing she does have a good plan, or you might end up making her understand she's completely out of her depth. Hey, this comment may get lost. I'm a former SY&D escort. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Yes, you make good money, but at the sake of your dignity, and it's just not worth it. Your friend has higher chances of violence upon her and human trafficking. She could also run into law enforcement. She could be robbed. The chances are there. I'm very lucky nothing bad happened to me. I made good money, but I would end up being miserable afterwards. My view on men and sex changed drastically. I was always upset and grumpy. I had a pimp too who I fell in love with. We had an amazing time when we were together, but in the end it didn't end well at all. I had to go to therapy afterwards. Hopefully my comment helps. Does she like sex with the sort of guys who pay for escorts though? Most are not going to be the sort of man she'd want to have sex with. I mean, I'm going to get into high-end X is easy to say. I, for example, am toying with the idea of becoming an extremely highly paid professional in my field who only takes on the best and most enjoyable jobs, but for like, loads more money than average and never works for less than deluxe. I mean, we are talking top of the tree, right? See how easy that was. However, after many years I am still unaccountably not high-end, and appear to be working what jobs are out there, and for whatever they'll pay. So, her escorting journey might be similar. Maybe suggest she talk with other escorts? She's maybe already done that. I know there are a lot of grifters online who are telling teenagers to make in of the minute they turn 18, so it might backfire. But it could give her a realistic view of what her trajectory would look like, and you can frame this as just wanting her to be informative all the info. At the end of the day, it's really all you can do. Sex work is unregulated and should be in a vulnerable position. It's hard to get justice for sexual assault for most of us, and sex workers are both especially vulnerable to it and especially unlikely to be able to go through the legal system. Whatever decision she makes, please continue to be there for her. Show her to our sex workers. Let her read some of the posts there and our client cringe for a while, and she may soon develop a different opinion of what the experience is actually like. How difficult and uncomfortable it really is. After all, every sex worker wants to book the rich clients, but few are successful. She may be just picturing getting laid with rich guys who like to party, but may come to realize what SW is actually like is totally different. All you can do is express your concerns. You can tell her you think she's making a mistake, but you can only tell her once. Ultimately, it's her decision. OnlyFans is probably safer IMO with knowing nothing about any of this. She will learn fast. A friend decided she's gonna do some high-class escorting. After the first date she was all how good it was, the guy was cute, she made good money. After the second time she never did it again and didn't want to talk about the experience. Tell her having sex with guys is super gay. It's not hard to become a sex worker, but becoming a high-end one? Pretty sure that requires more than good looks. You'd need connections and skill. How do you convince people you're worth it over the 20 prosty they can pick up on the corner or online? And even if you aren't working for anyone, it's still a dangerous job. Not everyone who's looking for that kind of company is just looking for sex. There's an expectation that you can't say no. It's not as glamorous as it sounds. She'll most likely become mistress of a 50-year business owner who's into piss fetish. The chances of anything more is extremely minuscule. There's enough horror stories online that you can show her of this going wrong. Just because it's high-end doesn't mean there's less risk. There's horrible people with money and without. Disease, drugs, booze, and the damage to her soul and psyche will be irreparable. Liking sex and using it to make money are not the same. Think up of some other ways to save or make money. If she's considering this, she must not be truly looking at it from all angles. You can't talk her out of it, but you could try to get her to talk to other escorts. They will likely have recommendations for her to keep safer while working or screening clients. If she pays for their time and wisdom, she will get the real raw info and be set up to be safer. There is also a good chance the talk with escorts will make her realize this is not for her. If your fear is about her getting taken advantage of, then being informed from people who are in the game is the only true safety from that if she is determined to do it already. Honestly recommend stripping instead. Definitely pays better, steadier income, and a hell of a lot safer. I've paid for escorts in the past, some on the pricier side, so I can only assume I'm a somewhat representative sample of clientele. I'm willing to send her a picture of my body. That should be enough to put her off the idea permanently. I take no responsibility however the results are too strong and she ends up gay. Firstly, I would ask permission to plead a case against sex work. The person can make her own decisions and does not have to listen to the cons. Secondly, it is worth going with her through a checklist of risks and downsides. Some of those are 1. Health safeguards and recovery strategies. 2. Physical safety and security. 3. Pimps and tax people. 4. Legal exposure. 5. Costs. 6. Retirement planning. Good luck to both of you. You can't save her, she don't want to be saved. Look at it as a business proposition. Your friend wants to become a freelancer in a competitive high-risk high-reward endeavor. If it weren't sex that she was selling, would she be good at it? Tell her you'll potentially invest in her new business if she shows you a business plan that accounts for all the risks and how she plans to market herself above the competition. To be honest, it sounds like she's ready to make an irrational decision, and there's nothing you can do about it. Giving her a chance to make it rational has a minimal probability of getting her to realize that this isn't the godsend she thinks it is. But honestly, I think the most you can hope for is to try your best in a way that keeps your conscience clear when she makes the decision she was going to make anyway. He'll be her first client. One night with me will be so disgusting she'll be put off escorting for life, possibly even men.